What is going on, everybody? Today we're gonna fix a little problem. I don't know if it's a big problem. I don't know if it's a little problem. That depends on you, on how you use this guitar. We're gonna fix a little problem with the PRS Mcarty 594 SE. This guitar is phenomenally good. I know people in the comments are like, "You're gushing about it just because PRS gave it to you, whatever." You know, it's a great guitar. It really is. And there's nothing else to say about it. The quality is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it. It plays perfect. It sounds great. The pickups sound phenomenal. The only thing I'm not a real fan of is how the coil split works in this guitar. So let's talk real quickly about how PRS does a coil split in their guitars. Okay, so first of all, we need to talk about how coil splitting works normally. So I've got my iPad here / whiteboard for those of you that like the whiteboard. So we've got two bobbins on our humbucker. One side of the humbucker is hooked up to the switch, or sometimes it's to a pot, like in a Gibson, it's hooked up to a pot first, then a switch, whatever. Anyway, it goes to the guitar on one side of the humbucker. The other side, it goes to ground. You take these two center links, because it's two coils, so you've got 4 wires. So the two center link wires are terminated together in the middle. Now typically they're just done like that. It's just tied together. So when you want to coil split them, typically what happens is then you put another switch right here. And typically it's this little kind of a double pull, double throw switch. And you can then switch that between ground and not. So it'll actually, what will actually happen when we do this is when the coil split is off and it's a normal pickup, it just looks like this. But it'll actually switch it to another ground right there. That's how a normal coil split works. So now the way PRS does it, we kind of have to back up and let's see. So now what we'll do is we'll put the coils to the switch, okay? So we've got the switch here, and then we've got it going to ground down here on one side like this. But before we ground to this other coil, we actually send it to a resistor, and then we send it to ground. And what that does is it makes it to where that coil that has the resistor hooked up to it, it doesn't shut all the way off. So it lets some of the signal. So you never really have full single coil with this PRS system with this extra resistor in it, because it's allowing some of the signal to go through. And the idea is so that it doesn't cut half of the signal of the pickup out and make it super quiet and weak and coil splitty sounding like a really weak humbucker, right? Okay, so now listen to the PRS Mcarty 594 SE and you tell me on this particular guitar how well it worked. That was the same video I used from the actual demo when we did the demo with this guitar. I think it's just, it doesn't work as well as the normal PRS stuff, which is kind of surprising for me because usually it's pretty awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing apart today and we're going to put a set of our center punch pickups in it. We do things a little bit differently. We have developed the center punch pickup in such a way that we wind the bobbins differently. I don't want to get too much into details about what we're doing there, but basically one bobbin is different from the other. Now it still works perfectly as a humbucker the way we have it done, because wind counts matter and etc. and all kinds of pickup nerdy things. But the bottom line is you still get about 60% of the humbucker is still on with no resistors and none of that tomfoolery. It's just a normal humbucker. When you coil split it, one of the coils is all the way off, but you still get about 60% of the original value and power of the humbucker. And what happens is our ears don't perceive that much of a volume drop with it. So let's go ahead and make a set and put them in here. And then once we get them in here, you take a listen and tell me what you think. So, what did you think? Let me know what you thought. Let's talk a little bit about what you're hearing here, because this is kind of interesting. I'm editing this right now, and I'll just give you what I'm seeing on the VU meters and what we're looking at as far as actual sound level. Because you can listen to both pickups and you can be like, well, yeah, the sound does go away. But what it really is, when you look at the EQ and you look at the dB meters, is it's a frequency change. So if we look at the PRS stock pickups, we are getting about, if I just look at this real close, we're getting about an 8 dB drop, which is a lot. Okay, so if we go on this clean tone in the clip you heard at the beginning of the video and we pull the coil split, we're getting about an 8 dB drop. Now if we go over here to the center punch, the Dylan Talks Tone center punch pickups, and we do the same thing, we're getting about 2.5. So we still get a little bit, because you can't really get around it because you are taking power away from the pickups. But the perceived difference there when you're playing is hugely different. What you're really noticing is a different in mid-range scoop. So that's going to sound weaker or different, of course, because of the character of the pickup. But the volume, the level, does not go away. And then I don't know if you noticed it or not, but in the dirty part, or even if you played this slightly broken up, like through a Princeton, for example, that perception even goes away a lot more. So going from an 8 dB drop with a coil split to a 2 dB drop with a coil split, which is a third, which to our ears is a massive, massive difference. This is much more tonally useful in a lot more circumstances. Is it like putting a neck Stratocaster pickup in this guitar? No, absolutely not. And I would not claim that. However, I think what we've got here is something that gives us a lot more usable tones in this particular guitar. And well, in anything. We've tried it in a lot of different guitars. Les Paul kind of stuff, 335 kind of stuff. And this is our most popular pickup we sell, actually. And so as soon as I got this PRS out of the box and felt that live with you when we did the live unboxing, I was like, it'd be interesting to put a set of center punches in this and see what happens. And what I thought was going to happen is exactly what happened. So it's kind of fun to play around with this experiment, a little bit different way of doing a coil split, getting a true coil split, and not having that irritating volume drop. And then once you start playing with pedals and your amp settings and stuff, you'll really get to almost have a seamless kind of tone. I know many of you who watch these videos have them. Do me a favor and get in the comments and let me know what your personal results with those are. And for those of you that have not tried it yet, you can go to Dylan Talks Tone at the end of this video, and there will be a link to them in the description, and you can go check them out yourself. This is really a fun experiment to do with this guitar. I'm going to put this back to how it was because I really like the pickups as they are, as long as I don't coil split them. But proof of concept, kind of fun. There's a reason why we sell so many of these things. So super fun, great guitar. If you get one of these, you will not be disappointed. I'm not saying anything bad about the guitar itself. I just think it was a really fun way to experiment with this stuff. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button and all that kind of stuff. And let me know what you think in the comments, and we will see you in the next video.